Alhamdulillah. So inshallah, I think to a large extent, I hope that this course will give you guys the main outcome of this course is to give you a firm foundation and an appreciation for the language. Okay, it will give you a broad perspective of the different types of Arabic. Okay, it will cover conceptual grammatical lessons in a sense, and at the same time deal with these conceptual things, and also that's why we've added this component of understanding Quran, so it's going to give you a little bit of that as well. The main outcome, inshallah, I hope for this course is to leave you with a sense of independence that you can actually take Arabic further, and you can also choose which type of Arabic you want to deal with. Okay, so we'll start off right from the beginning. Words and their types. Okay, words and their types. Okay. Right on top we see the word kalima. Okay, what do you think kalima means? It means a word, right? Kalima, and the plural is kalimat. Kalima, what's the plural?
Kalimat.
What's the plural?
Kalimat.
I don't hear everybody. Okay, so we have this word kalima. And the plural is kalimat. Sometimes the plural is synonymous with the word kalam, but there's a more technical definition to kalam. Does anybody know what's the meaning of kalam?
Speech.
Speech, right, speech. Okay, and there's technical meanings in the Arabic language related to kalam and kalima. We say that a word that has meaning is known as kalima, not just any word, a word that has meaning. Okay, you will get all the slides. You can write if you choose to write. You don't have to write. Okay, it's totally up to you. But I'm just informing you that I'm giving you all the slides, and you can possibly take down the things that I mentioned that's not in the slides. Okay, kalima. Kalima means a word. More technically, it means a word that has meaning. Okay, and that directly relates to kalam. Kalam in the Arabic language is known as there's a great poem which I'm not sure how many lines it is, but it documents most of the introductory rules to Arabic grammar. It's known as al-Ajrumiyyah. And the first few lines of this poem says, إِنَّ الْكَلَامَ عِنْدَنَا فَلْتَسْتَمِعْ. That indeed, kalam, the speech is with us. The speech is with us. With who? The people of grammar, the people of the Arabic language. فَلْتَسْتَمِعْ. This is a verb of command. It's saying, so listen up. Indeed, the speech is with us, so listen up. فَلْتَسْتَمِعْ. And then it explains what exactly speech is. Okay? And it doesn't use the word language, simply because language has many forms. You can get sign language, you can get language, lughatul ishara, not only sign language in this sense, but sign language in terms of exit signs, the toilet sign. These are all forms of sign language. But we don't say sign language or languages with us because of the other forms of language. We say speech is with us. Okay. And the first part of speech is lafdhun. Lafdhun. Okay. Lafdhun means something that is spit off the tongue. In other words, it's audible. Okay, it's spit off the tongue. The tongue moves, it is spit off the tongue. Lafdhun. Murakkabun, it is something that rides upon each other. And proper English, something that rides upon each other, this is known as a compound. Okay? So two things so far for speech. The first one was something that is lafdhun. What does that mean? Something that is spit off the tongue. In other words, tongue moves. Okay. Something that is I don't hear anybody. Something that is spit off the tongue. Lafdhun means something that is spit off the tongue. It's the first requirement. It's something that makes it audible. Murakkabun, something that rides on each other. What's the other one? Right. It's a compound. So for kalam, for speech, it must be spit off the tongue. It must be audible. That's the first part. The second part is it must be compounded. It must be compounded. In other words, it must be a sequence of words. Okay? And we'll get to more technical definitions as the course progresses, inshallah. Something that is spit off the tongue and something that is compounded. Mufidun. Mufidun is the third characteristic of speech. And who can guess what mufid means? Any guess? Mufid means beneficial. Okay? So according to the rules of Arabic, we say that speech is something spit off the tongue, something that has a sequence of words, and something that is beneficial. According to the Arabic language and to the rules of the grammarians, as we define it here, if something is not beneficial, we define it as noise. Okay? If it's not beneficial, it is defined as noise. So those are the first three characteristics of speech. لفظ مركب مفيد بالوضع أو قد وضع. And it is eloquent, it applies the rules of the grammar of the language. Okay? So there's two meanings to this beneficial part. Two meanings. One was, I said, actually it's mainly just really one meaning, which I will explain in two different ways. The first is, beneficial means that the listener is not waiting for more information. Okay? For example, I start a conversation and I say the boy. Everybody's waiting, right? Are you looking for more information from me? I didn't make a complete sentence. I just said the boy. Okay. That was not considered speech because you couldn't extract any information, you couldn't extract an order, you couldn't extract a statement. So that would be rendered unbeneficial or non-beneficial. Okay? Bilwadir. So those are the basic characteristics. Something that is spit of the tongue, something that is compounded, and something that is beneficial. Okay. It's not beneficial, it is considered noise, and those are the key things about kalam. Those are the key things about speech. Similarly, when we go one step lower into more narrower terms and we start dealing with words, any word that has a meaning is known as kalima. It must have meaning. Now, aqsamuhu thalatha, its types are three. There are three different types when we start talking about kalima. Three types. The three types are ismun. What's the first type? Everybody? Everybody? Again? Ismun. Now the first type is a noun. Okay? And nouns are words that have independent meanings. In other words, they don't require other words to explain their meanings. And I'm not talking about a description. I'm not saying when we say a man, we should say he is attributed with so and so, and this is the counterpart of a female. I just mean, if I say a man, you get a clear understanding of what a man is. Does that make sense? Okay? So it's a word independent of other words in indicating its meaning. It also does not have any tense. Okay? For example, rajulun. Say the first word. Rajulun. Again. Rajulun. 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 Okay, it means a man. Hamidun. 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 This is a specific name. It's the name of Hamid, right? One who praises. Darbun. Darbun. Darbun means to hit. Okay? And this is what we call a verbal noun. And how can you differentiate between the two? When I say to hit, or the act of eating, or just eating, okay, I didn't say he is eating, or is eating, was eating. I didn't indicate any tense with it. So, very importantly, a noun does not have any tense. Okay? And that is darbun. Okay? Aklun. Eating, drinking. All of these are just verbal nouns, or to drink, to eat, to hit. Tayyibun. Tayyibun. Everybody? Tayyibun. Right. Tayyibun is a noun, and you get subcategories of nouns that are basically just adjectives. Adjectives are nouns that describe other nouns. And I think the proper word would be descriptive nouns. So tayyibun is a descriptive noun or an adjective. And then huwa, what is huwa? What is huwa? He. Right, ana? I. Everybody point to him. Huwa. Huwa, hands. Huwa. Huwa, right. Ana. Huwa. Ana. Huwa. Ana. Okay, inshallah I think on Monday we'll see a lot more activity in the class. Okay, so all of these are nouns, right? And we could categorize them as different nouns This would be an indefinite noun because it's referring to any man. This would be a proper noun, like anybody's name would be considered a proper noun. Darbun, to hit, would be considered a verbal noun. Tayyibun, a descriptive noun. Huwa would be a pronoun. Ana would also be a pronoun. Okay? Now, that's the first type. No tense, and simply put, it's a naming word without any tense. The second part, fi'lun, indicates some action together with one of three tenses. It indicates what? An action. In other words, it's a doing word. And what's the other important thing? It's got tense. It's got tense. One of the three tenses. Either something that has happened, is happening, or will happen. And what's the key difference between the ismun and the fi'lun? Ismun doesn't have tense. Okay, because you can get nouns that describe an action as well. For example, darbun. So we can't say the one is a doing word, the other is not a doing word. Okay, in the real technical terms. But the main difference between ismun and fi'lun is the one has tense, the other does not. Okay, which one doesn't have tense?
This one.
You can say nouns. We don't expect you to know the Arabic terminology. Okay, so nouns do not have any tense. Okay, and fi'lun has got a tense and indicates an action. Now, a word whose meaning cannot be understood without a fi'lun or an ismun. Okay, so these are connectors. It says particle, but I'm probably more comfortable with the word connectors. They complete the sentence. Okay, they are like min. Min means
From.
min, from. Min al-masjid al-aqsa ila Anyway, so min means what? From. Min means from. Ala means on. Ila means to. Fi means in. Fil bayti, what does it mean? Fil bayti,
In my house.
in the house. Okay. So how are these words that are connectors? These words, conjunctions or connectors that complete your sentences. And these are the words whose meaning cannot be understood without other words. Two. What two are we talking about? Are we talking about two? Are we talking about, what are we talking about? So to complete a sentence from an example, ذهب الرجل. ذهب means, here's a word, a verb. He is going. ذهب happened. So how would you translate ذهب? From the same concept. He went. ذهب الرجل. What's a rajul? What's a rajul? Man. Everybody? Rajul means man. Say rajulun. Again. Again. Ar-rajulu. Say ar-rajulu. Take a guess, what does it mean? The man. Right. So ذهب, translate. ذهب. ذهب. He went. Right. ذهب الرجل. The man went. Again. The man went. ذهب الرجل من البيت, from his house, إلى المسجد الحرام, to the mosque, right? To the sacred mosque, to the grand mosque. Okay, so there we get an understanding of the three broad categories. There are only these three categories. There are subcategories maybe in ismun. Okay, but the broad categories of what makes up words in the Arabic language is ismun, which means nouns, right? Fi'lun, which means verbs, and harf or huruf, which means particles or connectors, right? Okay, what's the key difference between an ismun and a fi'lun? Ismun doesn't have tense, fi'lun has tense. Okay, right. Any questions? Everybody fine with what we've done so far? Ismun, fi'lun, and harf. Say ismun, fi'lun.